Okay, very good. Well, it's great to have everybody at the meeting here. We're going to take roll and then I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is just, let's see, 4:30 and 45 seconds is what I've got here. But I was hoping to make it in person today, but wasn't able to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is, bear with me here. Um, Hang on, bear with me. Okay, there we go. I was running into a technical difficulty here, but I'll go ahead if it would have Cheryl for me to just go ahead and call roll. Would that be helpful, Cheryl?
Um, so you can't hear me, is that the problem?
Well, for some reason today I'm doing it I'm doing it over the phone rather than over the Zoom thing. Somehow it connected me on the phone, even though I'm I'm not hearing anybody really, but I'll just go ahead and get the meeting going. Would it help you if I were to call roll?
So all right, so the first person, Doris, are you here? I'm not hearing from Doris, so I would say she's not present.
I think there's something going on with our Zoom connection today somehow. I'm not sure what it is. But we'll try to rough along with it here, I think.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Ray is here.
Here.
All right.
BJ Carroll is absent, and that's excused.
Okay.
Craig Edens is ill, but Louise is on the phone.
Great.
Madeline. She's present and smiling.
Oh, good.
I'm here.
Robin Gosney said she would be coming by Zoom. Robin, oh, we're admitting Robin short
Okay.
just now.
All right. And how about Dan? Is he there?
Chris Jones, I thought I saw him.
He's on.
I'm here.
And of course I am too.
Okay, yep, we hear him. And Judy's here. John Norman is out due to illness.
Oh.
Monette Barton. I don't see.
Got one more character out here in the peanut gallery.
There's Doris. Yay.
There's Doris. Okay, so we're putting Doris down as present. Monette, I'm not seeing.
Hello.
Yep, there she is.
There she is.
Okay.
Hey, Minette. Yay. All right.
Dick Phillips is present. Valerie Rose, I saw her on the screen.
I'm here.
Wonderful.
Hello,
Glad to
everyone.
have you back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Steve Stevens, he's here. And Daniel, I saw him on screen.
Yes. All right.
Welcome.
Hey, Daniel.
Dean is present.
All right. Thanks.
And from Skagit Transit, it's Stevie Matthews, Rogelio, and Cheryl Will.
Well, Rogelio, glad to have you visit us as always. And then, did you call Irene?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
President person.
Excuse me, Cheryl.
Doris is in person.
Yeah, I have Doris. I was asking about Irene.
He's here in person.
Okay, very good. All right, I think that takes care of everybody. Very good. All right, do we have any guests today?
None at Skagit
No
Station
guests?
that I can see.
Hearing none, and none on the participants list. All right. Do we have anybody in the public that wants to comment today? Okay, hearing none. Let's go on to the August minutes. Do we have any additions or corrections to the August minutes?
I move that we accept them as published.
Okay, and Dick has moved to accept. Any seconds?
Second,
And that was Robin?
yes.
All right. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. The minutes be approved as submitted. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, any opposition? Same sign. All right, very good. Thank you all for carrying the motion forward. We will move on now to the CEO update. Do we have an update from her today? Is it available?
Unfortunately, Crystal is not here.
All right. Now, did she assign someone to be able to, for instance, Stevie, did she assign you to stand in her stead, or are we just going to go ahead and skip this little portion for the moment?
We may hold off. I just don't know if she was
Okay.
able to get away on time. So I just tried to structure this based on letting her lead the ship.
Okay. So I'm going to say really quickly, the Zoom connection is really kind of strange today. So if I'm interrupting anybody, please tell me that I'm interrupting and I'll stop talking because I really can't tell what's going on from my end. So I do apologize for that in advance. All right. So who is talking about the Washington State Climate Commitment Act?
So I had anticipated that Crystal was going to have something to say, and I wish I could use my presentation.
We can hold up on that too, if you like.
I can give you just a little bit of an intro. I guess I'll go back to this. So the only thing I really have to say that would be new news for you would be the ridership itself. So again, that we have about the same trend for youth ridership that our CCA funds pay for. So this month it was a little bit less than it was before, but it was about 14% this month. So you'll see more of our ridership here in a minute. And that we have
year to date, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Year to date, the
14%.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, 15% year to date, 14% just in the month of August.
Ah, okay.
And the only other new and exciting news is we've gotten all of our vehicles stickered, just showing our display of, that we're receiving funding from the CCA. So if you see the back of the buses and the paratransit vehicles, they have these fun new stickers on them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so that takes care of the ridership also. Any questions for Stevie on these items?
I have more images here for our ridership when we get into it.
All right. Well, that is actually the next thing to come. So go ahead and go for it.
I'll flip through these. We're a little out of order here. So here is
yes, we
what we have for ridership. We saw 41,935 trips taken on fixed route. And this was roughly about the same level of ridership that we were seeing in 2023. So overall, we're still trending up, but it was pretty comparable to what it looked like out there last year.
Okay.
And we had 5,717 trips on paratransit, which was roughly about 4% more than August of 2023.
Okay. All right.
This is Valerie. I'm looking at the chart, and yes, it looks like for the most part this year, there's been a big increase in paratransit use over last year, with the exception of February and June. And some of the Climate Change Act money is going to help pay for those additional paratransit trips. Am I understanding correctly?
No, the funding is specifically for Youth Ride Free for
Oh,
that
okay.
program. And they can ride on paratransit, so there is some overlap, but it is traditionally more of a fixed route statistic.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions for Stevie on this?
Oh, yes, this is Minette. Did she say that the funding stickers are from the EPA?
CCA,
Hello?
which is a climate, it's CCA, which is Climate Commitment
Yeah.
Act.
Oh, all right.
CCA.
Okay. So we're getting funding from that to encourage bolster up our bus routes and encourage ridership.
Well, it's for the Youth Ride Free program, which is through the CCA.
Youth Ride Free. Okay. All right. Well, that's all right.
This is Valerie
Okay.
again. And again, to me, the youth, go ahead, sorry.
I appreciate that, and I think that for kids that can't go on the school bus, that is a great benefit.
Yeah, most definitely, and I'm sure the parents really appreciate it too.
And we're growing the next generation of bus riders. These young people.
That's right.
Which is wonderful. I talked to so many people who've never been on a bus. Well, these kids, this is opening doors for these kids on so many ways. So, hooray.
Oh, yeah.
It
That's
is,
right.
yes.
I like
It's a good thing.
like that.
Okay, someone who has a dog in the background, could you please mute yourself unless you need to speak?
I had somebody over here and somebody's coming to pick him up and he's acting terrible. I'm sorry.
Can you mute for a minute, please, until he's done?
Hi.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we've got...
I was quiet
Okay.
all day. Call you later.
Next, we have, do we have any other questions on the ridership report? Or any questions for Stevie on the Climate Commitment Act? Okay, I'm not hearing anything.
I think we do.
I do have a question.
Irene, okay, excuse me.
And I think I asked it last week, but I don't believe I understood. So the Climate Control Act will fund youth ridership, but how long are we going to be funded? So
if I'm understanding your question correctly, because this is an initiative that's on the ballot this year, and I know this is a concern that if it were to go away, as we understand it, it is all of these rides would still be funded through to next summer. And at that point, then I believe it would be on the state to determine how to recover those funds if possible. But that is not yet determined. So they're saying if you are receiving these grant funds now and that goes away, you can still draw down on them until next summer. Okay. And then they have to make a determination of how to proceed.
Okay, so it's through next summer, but then when do we go back? I mean, I take it that there will come a point when we have to go back and ask for funding again after next summer's done. So when does that happen? And yeah.
Well, so.
Sorry, my mic
Ryan's-
wasn't working there. I got it now.
Judy,
Okay, go
we're
ahead.
getting another mic.
It's all right. I don't have the date for that on hand. On a biennium.
Stevie, we're not getting you.
Just be you, Judy, because it's recording on the screen. So I'll try to be louder. Yeah, in terms of context, I just know that this cycle would end at the end of the summer and the
Next year.
correct 2025. Okay. So if that becomes an issue that we face in November, we have some backup plans.
Or
Right, for our grant writer would be working on other ways to try to secure some funding. But we can only do that when things are open, and they're all dependent kind of on one another as to whether or not they're needed. So monthly updates to come as to where we're standing on the issue and what action we're taking based on the turnout.
so before this Climate Control Act, kids had to pay.
Yes.
And it seems like, then it's the Climate Control Act, is that a state funded? So, but
Yes.
is it a federal
No.
funding from the federal government? It's funding from the state?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
So this would impact everyone statewide.
that's why for the most part, I mean, I've seen it in King County and the rest
Just
of
warning, the train is coming
Okay.
through.
you.
We just need to roll with the flow today, it looks like.
Do what?
I said we just need to roll with the
Climate
flow
control
today,
act?
it looks like.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
There was a question in the room if youth counts students, and yes, that's everyone who is 18 and younger. We have reduced rates with several of the colleges, but they're not completely free. It's specific to youth.
That almost touches on my question. Do we know what the ridership is, the percentage or numbers for the students, their free riders?
I do track for monthly reporting purposes our youth ridership specifically, and then our student ridership. I also have numbers for paratransit, for full fares, for a combined reduced fare, which would be your seniors and persons with disabilities who have reduced fares, and any other courtesy rides that we may give out. So I do have what percentage of our total ridership categories are.
Yeah, when I rode the other day, and I think it was I don't know, was it weekend? Anyway, there was quite a few students, so it was pretty good in Woolley. Cedar Woolley had a good turnout for those kids. And it wasn't just right at the time that school was out either.
Hello, this is Manette. If for the Climate Control Act,
Yes?
Really long train.
We are, okay.
So I have some other statistics I have handy if you can hear me over the train, if this is what you're looking for. So for our entire ridership, we were looking at 14.4% are paratransit trips. That includes both on fixed route and paratransit vehicles specifically. Full fare is about 44% of our ridership. Our university passes are only about 1% of our ridership, but our reduced fares overall are 25%. And we're giving out about 4% of courtesy rides, and this time around we were about 13% students or youth. Sorry.
How many? What percent students? 13%. Oh, you.
Okay, so if we don't have any other questions on ridership, I think we can move on, Judy.
Okay, very good. I just was not hearing anything, any conversation whatsoever. So I will figure that that we're done with that topic. All right, so it looks like number 7. I've got questions about this because under here we've got long range transit plan, and then we've got Linwood relationship, October event name, just a bunch of stuff under this that I'm not sure. It's doesn't look terribly organized, but let's go ahead before we do the long range plan. Let me ask what this event advised Judy can do is about. October.
We have this broken out a little bit more. So I will.
This makes no sense on the agenda. I'm sorry.
It has to do with the slides that she's showing. It matches with slides.
Well, that is not helping me. And when we see these agendas, it's just that looks just very broken up. We don't. It's just not matching up at all. If it matches with slides, that's great, but I have no idea what's going on, and I wouldn't even have an idea what's going on if I were there. So we need to work on a little bit of this organization some. So let's go ahead. I guess long-range transit plan is next, correct?
Yep, on our agenda, the next step up is our long-range transit plan, and I wanted to show everyone kind of a preliminary phase 2 engagement schedule that we're looking to bring some of these concepts out to the public. And we're kicking it off in September. We're doing a couple different meetings with stakeholder groups, and then we're trying to get out into the public and reach out to different communities. So we have everything ranging from, end of September through early November, trying to visit different farmers markets. We're going to hold a virtual open house. We're going to be at some different events that are like fall festival related. We're going to attend the veteran stand down as well. So once we get that actually locked down, we will communicate that with everyone in the event they want to attend, which would be great to hear some of what we're looking at doing. So the next kind of slide I have to share with you are some of the initial recommendations that are coming out of our consultants' work. And some of the things that they've sent over, we've already been kind of vetoing, saying, these things won't work because we can't make, for example, we can't make the turn that they're suggesting, or it just doesn't make logical sense, So some of the ones that we do like, I wanted to point out here before we started to get, too into the weeds with lots and lots of detail. One suggestion that they made was to extend the 40X from March's Point to the ferries. It's a pretty common request to be able to give you a kind of a one-seat ride all the way out. It's people are ultimately trying to do by making that transfer. So by just streamlining that, it does make a lot of sense. So a lot of details need to be worked out to make that work for the timing and all the logistics, but we do agree that that would be a good decision. Another one is pretty simple change to make would be adding a stop at the casino along the 80X.
Yes, I'm on the Zoom meeting as you are.
Yeah. Okay.
Would be adding a stop.
Okay.
So
I will.
So we had a stop there previously. We did not necessarily have an agreement with the folks at the casino, and we've been in discussions with the Upper Skagit tribe, looking at ways to help provide service to their community. And they're very enthusiastic about working with us to get this established. So more to come.
Okay.
There's 2 different routes that we operate right now that are kind of big loops that take a very long time for riders to do the full circle. And we think it would make a lot of sense to divide them into 2 routes. structure of that is still to be determined, but we think the 101 and the 300, so both Burlington and in Cedar Woolley, those would benefit the public by being separate routes. And lastly, I wanted to share kind of what this microtransit zone would look like, that would give the existing 409 route a kind of a new life. And we have a lot of details to work out for this, but it's just kind of the northern portion of Anacortes, kind of expanding a little bit further than where we currently have service. That would give people a little bit more of an on-demand service model. And then we can combine that with existing paratransit trips in the same vehicle to give people kind of a quicker service, go further, and it would be more on your terms than a predetermined fixed route schedule. That's what I have for you guys today.
Okay, I think that's very interesting, combining some of that, you know, just some of this microtransit into the paratransit. That's an interesting way to handle that.
This is Valerie. I have a question and a request. The request is there's this, I know, Judy, you were saying there's some odd things happening with Zoom today. I'm wondering if everybody who's not speaking could mute. I'm wondering if that would help, because there's this weird echo.
I think the echo's happening because Stevie's trying to do it through her computer rather than how it's usually been done before.
That's not the case. We are using the regular computer. No, it's someone in the group has an echo.
So if everybody, including you, Judy, could mute when you're not speaking, obviously unmute when you are speaking. I'm wondering if that would be workable, because the echo is making it almost impossible for me anyway, to hear what is being said. So that's a request. My question is, Stevie, you were saying something about adding a stop at the casino. I believe you said the 40X, and I'm looking at the slide which says 80X. So I'm
correct. We are talking about the 80X. So running northbound, different casino, not the one that's right here.
Skagit.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification.
Good question.
Okay, thank you. And now I'm not hearing the echo. So
no, it's great now.
Thank you.
Yay!
Steve, on the change for the March Point to the ferries, is that going to be a direct then from March Point to the ferry? Because when you get on the I don't know what the route is that takes you from the March Point to the ferry, but it goes such a long way, and it just seems so it's so unnecessary. So will the March Point go direct then, or will the what was it, the 40X then go direct from March Point to the ferry?
Somewhat, and still to be determined. So the point, if you're kind of looking at the zone that we have up here for a microtransit zone, that would provide most of the local service in the region, right? This will use multiple vehicles, and it'll be operating kind of all the time during service. So instead of the 410 being a separate route, the thought would be to take that 40X, continue it up towards, downtown, to stop at the Guimas Ferry, and then continue on to the Washington State Ferry.
Okay.
To hit both the ferries, of course.
Okay.
So not exactly direct, but
close to it.
Yes.
So they're not weaving all around everywhere.
Interesting.
So the concept, the question was, will it use the Skyline, or will the 410 still do that? And with this current concept, I can't say the 410 will be eliminated. It just won't be a standalone route. It will be absorbed into the 40X, so that's all just one long route. And then anything that would be local travel would take place on a microtransit vehicle.
I see.
So at this point, we're looking at only having that long route in and out of the area on fixed route, and then everything local in as a microtransit.
Just the 40S goes from here to Marshall's Point. So you're talking now, if you're doing this change, so it won't come back here.
Yes. I was just referring to its kind of outbound trip to go all the way to the ferries. Once it drops off all of its passengers there and picks up a new set of folks that want to come back into town, its inbound trip will do just the opposite. We're trying to make things more linear. Yes, so it would definitely do a full round trip.
I know.
Cheryl made a good point that these are all hypothetical scenarios, right? It's just coming out of a study. It's what we think would be a good idea. So we're very far away from any of this being reality. We have some great ideas. We just want to take them to the public and see if it matches, you know, the needs that they have or what they want to see for their community.
Okay, yeah, and that does make sense.
So is that in the plan or not?
Yes, the intention would be to have 7-day-a-week service.
For the 40X.
For all routes, actually. We recognize that we have pretty minimal service on Sundays, especially in one route not operating on Saturday. So that is one of our first goals, is to make sure that we have at least some level of service 7 days a week for all routes.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely sounds like good ideas for sure. Okay, what about this, you know, going back up to these, this thing about the Linwood relationship? Let's see.
I believe Cheryl included that because it is a question that constantly comes up.
Yes.
We know that people want to make this connection, and it's something we do not have the ability to do right now. It is something our consultants are looking at in terms of the long-range plan, what is feasible for the 90X, where are people trying to go, what would that take? And we just don't have any hard lines in the sand to say what's going to happen with that route at this time.
Okay, all right. So now this is beginning to make sense. LRTP October event collect, advise Judy. What is all that about?
So that was kind of where I started with the events, sharing that we're starting to lock these down. And I know you guys were involved in our spring session when we had open houses. So once we have this all set in place, we wanted to open up that opportunity that if you wanted to get involved, that this would be the list. We would have the times and the locations first available to you guys.
Okay, so then paraphrasing all of that stuff is there is just another chance we can get involved like we did last spring, right?
Exactly. That's what we were aiming for.
Okay. All right. So is everybody in? I'm definitely in as much as I can do. Definitely count me in. And if y'all would like to get involved similar to the way we did last spring, it'd be a great opportunity to do it. Reach out and go for it. If everybody's in, that would be awesome. And then I'm taking that you will let us know how and when to do that as things come by, right?
Yes, we have a few on the screen right now that we have locked down, and I'm sure we'll send out an email once we have a full list. Nobody wants to get piecemeal information, so we have 3 on here that have kind of time and date to be determined as to whether or not, you know, that works out for everyone involved, because we're trying to coordinate with the consultants so that they can be hands-on as well, and we just have a lot to manage before we have this.
Sure. Okay.
But we're very close.
Sounds good. And I think it's really like tantamount to have the consultants involved because they weren't the consultants weren't at that many last time. So to have them there would be a good thing. I think there was one where they were, that I was there, that they were there, and Anacortes. But yeah, that'd be great to have them. So I think that's really great. Okay, so you'll be letting us know on that. And
I think,
then
Judy, if I could just mention real quick that we
Yes.
have on here, we have two different opportunities that I want everyone to know. Like, you're not required, obviously encouraged to attend events, especially in your local area.
Yes.
If it's at a time or a place that is inconvenient, or you're just battling the weather, we are holding 2 virtual open house sessions on Tuesday, October the 15th. So these are set in stone. We are going to do them online via Zoom from 12 to 1 p.m. So some of the folks that like to sneak out for their lunch break, come out. Or we will do one in the evening from 6 to 7. So those who can't get away from work during the day will have a second session and kind of walk through all the things that we're thinking about and really encourage that open discussion.
Okay. And so these are the alternatives to the meetings that you cannot make in person this fall, correct?
Yes, unless you are
Okay.
really enthusiastic and want to attend multiple.
Yes. Okay. Those are wonderful options. Thank you so much for that. Okay. Now, is there anything else on screen that I might be missing?
Not yet.
Okay. So
Hi there. I have one question. I don't see the evening virtual open house. Is that the same day as Tuesday, October 15th? Or
Yes,
what
the
day it
evening
is?
session is not listed on this
Okay.
one. This is
Great.
the initial list that our consultant sent
Okay.
over, and we're adding to it before it's
That's a
finalized.
great idea to have like a supper time virtual, because I teach school. I can't come to noon to 1, but I could come to the supper time one.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've learned that some folks, kind of our stakeholder groups like WashDOT and whatnot, they like to attend the lunchtime sessions, and the general public seems to do better with the evening ones.
Okay, sounds good. Then we have the 6 local and community events in August upcoming, disaster prep month. I mean, it's all under this next heading, under heading 8. Is this something that we are ready for now? Are you taking this, Stevie, or is this Cheryl? Is this you? Unless the concrete does it.
Let Cheryl talk about our events.
Okay.
She's just putting it up on the screen.
I only have our past information handy. I did not get a upcoming events slide, so I will let Cheryl dazzle you with her knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So in August, it's Senior Day in the Park, August 15th. And then we did a number of back to school events. So we did a back to school event.
Cheryl, your mic is, you're fading out.
Okay, I'm gonna turn. Is it louder now?
No.
Okay, I think maybe the mic is going out of juice. I'm not sure.
That's probably, it could be a battery issue or a charge issue.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have a different mic.
Okay.
Okay, so we were at a number of different schools for back to school events. It included Burlington. It was concrete. And let me see, there was another one. Anyhow, at least 3 of those. And then we were at the Community Connect event at Concrete, which was an outdoor event. And we were at
How about the King County, Skagit County Fair?
Oh yeah, we're at the Skagit County Fair. I had a lot of events in August.
And those were mentioned last month too.
And let me see. Yeah, that's almost 5 or 6
Yeah.
events, I think.
Yeah, we covered that we were going to be doing those last month. Yeah.
Okay. And then coming up is the Mexican Independence celebration, which is September 15th in the evening. And then we will also be at a late afternoon into evening concrete outdoor disaster event in concrete on September 21st.
21st, I see that.
And then it's week without driving.
Ta-da! Yay! All right. And so on that week without driving, Stevie, do you have any more information for us on that?
I do. So after we had all of our wonderful conversations with the coordinators for the program, I had an idea, and Cheryl has built this out, so I'll let her discuss it. Basically, what we want to do is we're going to put out kind of 3 different scenarios where you guys can do ride-alongs with some folks. So we've built some different trips. We will market this online, and we're going to ask the group, based on what you will see on the screen, and I'll let Cheryl walk through this since she built it, which ones you guys might want to volunteer to be a part of. And, you know, then we can talk about what kind of an experience you've had, because I know you've sent letters, but each of you have a different way to contribute. So take it away, Cheryl.
Okay, on September 30th, it would be meeting the group, or, you know, being available to individuals who want to ride with you at 9:30 at March's Point Park and Ride at that location.
Okay.
After you meet with your people, you would then board the 40X at March's Point at 9:40 a.m. You would ride that to Skagit Station, arriving at 10 a.m. Then transfer to the route 202 at Skagit Station at 10:15 a.m. Ride the 202 for its loop. It's down and back. It goes down to the most southern point is the Mount Vernon Park and Ride, and then come back to Skagit Station, arriving at 10:40 a.m. and then transfer to the 40X at Skagit Station, leaving at 11:15 and arriving at March's Point at 11:40.
Okay.
And the next one is October 1st. Folks would meet at the Chuckanut Park and Ride at 9:15 a.m. Kind of look for folks and would board the route 101 at 9:25 a.m. You would ride that until you got to the Dick's Sporting Goods stop. It's stop 1357. You'd get off at that stop and walk to the Burlington Boulevard. So you're basically walking through the parking lot of Dick's to get to Burlington Boulevard. To stop 1411.
Got it.
It's about a 5-minute walk or less. And then get on the 208 northbound. You'd ride the 208 to the Chuckanut Park and arrive at 10:15. Did I say that you board at 9:46 a.m. and then
let's see. You said we'd take stop 1411.
And at 1411, you get on the bus at 9:46 a.m.
Okay. Okay, I didn't have that part. Okay.
And then you arrive at Chuckanut at 10:15 a.m.
Okay.
And then on October 5th, that's a Saturday, I
Uh-huh.
would meet folks at the Chuckanut Park and Ride at 9:30 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And then you would get on the Route 208 at 9:45
Uh-huh.
and arrive at Skagit Station at 10:10.
Okay.
Then change to the Route 202 that leaves at 10:15 a.m.
Uh-huh.
And you'd stay on it for its entire route. So you would go down and back and come back at 10:40. You
Okay.
transfer to the 208 at 10:45
Uh-huh.
and arrive at the Chuckanut Park and Ride at 11:15.
Okay. All right. So those are the three scenarios. And then one of the questions I have is, so as far as meeting up with the folks, how on that part of the marketing, are we going to know who we're meeting up with or how we're meeting up, or how do we know to hook up with whom at, when we are going to, have the ride-alongs?
Because this is commingled with our regular ridership, we're
Yeah.
just going to post that we have this opportunity, that we will have someone on the bus who is looking to talk about their experience as a rider, someone who normally does not drive. And we're just going to leave that up to anyone to go, because we know if we ask for a sign-up sheet, some people won't show up, and we don't want to hold buses up from their regular routes, for people who need regular service, to wait for someone to park, which is why Cheryl has designed this to involve some transfers. So if you can't necessarily make, one of the legs of the trip, there will still be other opportunities throughout the day, or perhaps on another day, or a different route that you may have another interest in, to ride along.
Okay. So then you're marketing these to, so the whole idea about the ride was to have the elected officials experience the, the ridership. So are you marketing this for the general public to ride along who don't normally ride, or to the elected officials to try to get a taste of the experience? Or how's this marketing? Is it being targeted?
No, we were not targeting elected officials. We are making this an opportunity for everyone in the public to be interested in experiencing what it would be like to take the bus instead of depending on your car.
Okay. And then, so for those of us who are going to volunteer to ride along, are we going to have some kind of an ID, like a lanyard or sign or something like this? So that,
Absolutely.
okay, have we worked out that piece of what this is going to look like?
Cheryl said she's already got 3 made up, and we can obviously make a few more if we have a lot of interest.
Okay, so I think that is interesting. Well, the way I was understanding the week without driving was the fact that they were the whole idea was to involve elected officials who make a lot of the decisions on where the buses go in their communities and the funding. And a lot of people of the elected officials do sit on boards. And so I think that's why it was actually trying to work and connect with elected officials. But I mean, I think the public idea is also very good, but I wonder if we're kind of missing a piece of what they want to do with this. I'm not really sure. That would be an interesting question for Lucille that we talked to, or Anna Zivarts, somebody like that, who are heading this up. But those are the utmost, the first questions I have in my head about this. So I don't know. Is there any comments from you guys on this?
You just, who do we tell about the right, or who do we talk to?
That was exactly why we put this up today. So we wanted to show you kind of what these opportunities were. It was a great avenue to get everyone together. And if you wanted to volunteer, we were going to take down those lists today. Ask, if anybody was interested in a specific scenario, we could record that and maybe do like a little bio for the website that says, you'll be meeting, like, look for this person. This is who you'll be meeting with. And a little information about how long you've been a rider. And then people can pick where they're headed.
I'm interested,
Okay.
maybe. It depends on my bus. On the time wise, I'm gonna try to figure out
And we don't necessarily need a commitment today, right? Obviously, you've just heard this, so if you want to take it home and digest information, I believe Cheryl has a couple copies. Oh, yeah, she gave you right in front of you is what she gave you.
Schedule.
For the rider guides? Yeah, we can get you one out front. So let's say probably about a week from now, can we get Cheryl either a phone call or an email saying you'd like to participate?
I could let you know right now. I gotta.
Oh, great.
Figure out if I can or not. Saturday, I'm not doing Saturday. There's no way I can do that. Because they start at 8, the buses start at 8:15, and there's no way I can get to Chuckanet by that time on the 208 to get there.
Yeah, with the Saturday hours.
I don't think that would work. Okay. 9.
And again, we don't have to make a decision right now. We can move on for the sake of keeping the meeting going and give you guys the opportunity to really think about what the opportunities are here. And if you want to commit.
I was just wondering if anybody had any more questions regarding this, because those are really good scenarios, but it seems like it's, that's good, but it seems like it's, it's good to have the public, know what we're doing and to know more about this. But I think the whole idea of part of this was including elected officials. So I guess, for me, I'm just kind of digesting where this is actually going. Does anybody else have any other questions on these opportunities for the week without driving? Okay, so Cheryl, you need to know by, are you saying next Friday? Or when would you need to have that information of who can participate?
Friday the 13th. And
that's in 2 days. I
was just clarifying which Friday.
That's what I'm trying to do. Which Friday? Which Friday do you need?
The 20th. By the morning of the 20th.
Okay. All right. So Cheryl will need to know then who can participate and where and when by the morning of the 20th. And then also, can you send out an email with these events in them to all of us, Cheryl, so that we can have them?
Yes.
Okay, that would be really good. I did take notes on those, and I do appreciate you going through all of that. All right. Any more for Cheryl on the week without driving? Any questions on how they want to do these 3 events?
So where is this going to be posted on the website then? And then
Yes, we didn't want to post anything until we had commitments from you guys that somebody was going to go to be a part of this. And if the times just didn't work out, maybe we would find something out. But once we do that, we'll set it all up as a program. It'll all be online and people can see that and sign up.
So its goal is just to kind of introduce people to the different routes and
yeah, some of what we've experienced in our outreach is people don't know about our services, where the routes go, and there's quite a bit of anxiety about, how you pay, where the bus goes, what a transfer is like, how far you can really get, on multiple buses. So we wanted to give them kind of an experience, a guided companion who is well-versed in riding, to say, you don't have to take your car everywhere if you're just going for lunch or if you're going to the office or you need your groceries. Like there are a lot of different ways that you can get around without a car. And
they don't have transfers, do they? I mean, your card takes care of it all, right?
I just meant in concept, getting off of one bus and
I
taking another.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
This is Valerie. I just want to quickly respond. Excuse me. One of the things that was mentioned was helping people understand how the buses work and where they go, etc. So for next month, I will put on the agenda my repeated request that Skagit Transit use the buses to publicize what we do. I'm so glad to see the climate commitment stickers on the buses. They're on the back of the bus. It's the perfect billboard for attracting the attention of surrounding cars and excuse me, and pedestrians. And we can use this for helping to address these questions about people not knowing some people not knowing much about Skagit Transit. So I'll get off my soapbox and put it on next month's agenda.
Oh, very good. And then the agenda items are due the first Monday of, it would be the first Monday of October. So that's when Cheryl would need those in. That's a good point. Thanks very much. Really quickly here, I just want to mention that next month, October, is going to be when we actually will start the nomination process. And for you new folks, the way that's done is we'll officially open it in the sense that Cheryl can start taking nominations. Let her know either by email, phone call, however you do it, who you would like to see run for the different offices. I was going to try to have us talk about the offices, like what they are, what they entail, and so forth. There's 3 of them, but we're running out of time today, so I won't do it. But just to let you know, we'll try to slide that in next month too. When we open the nominations officially, we'll describe each office a little bit. And you all can figure out if you want to run, if you want to vote for yourself, or who you'd like to run. And in November, we'll actually nominate, do the nominations for the board recommendation and vote on who the board should recommend. So that takes care of that. And if you have any questions, you can email me or contact me later. We really kind of ran out of time almost a little bit today, and I apologize for this if I had anything to do with that. We just had some issues going on, I think. But do we have anything that really has to be brought up by the members before we actually adjourn?
I have one quick comment, please.
Yes, and Madeline, yes.
The new routes that started this month, I don't know how many were affected, but I know the 205, 305 was, and the riders were not informed of the changes. So they were actually going out to the Skagit Valley College and being waylaid up to Cedro Woolley Park and Ride. So we need to get information out. It's not on the website. It's not signage. It's not in the ridership guide. So somehow we need to let people know when routes change because it's definitely affecting people.
That is an excellent point. It was something that was not brought to our attention until just recently, and we are building some things that should be up online tomorrow and in person at the shelters, at all the stations, to be posted with all of this information. So that was entirely our mistake.
Well, it would just be nice to know every time we change. I don't know how many other routes were affected, but I definitely know that one was because students were getting confused. But thank you.
Now, I know things are posted on Facebook, but and it's gotten better. The posts on Facebook used to be way late, like you'd find out about the routes the day things were happening and maybe later in the day. So when the timing of the Facebook posts have really improved, but not everybody's on Facebook. So yeah, that does have to happen. Okay, any other quick questions? All right. Well, if there's no further business that would take longer than 60 seconds, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second
This is
that.
Valerie. I motion that this excellent meeting. Anybody
All
second?
right.
A second.
Okay. Was that Daniel?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Okay, Valerie and Daniel. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. The meeting be adjourned. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, same sign. Meeting adjourned, and thank you all so much for your dedication, participation, and all of that good stuff. And we will talk to you. Our next meeting is October 1st during the week without driving. We'll talk to you all
Take
then.
care, everyone.
And thank you too.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.